What's up guys? This is my third time trying to shoot this stupid video. Hopefully this is the magic time. We are going to take a look at the 6D Mark II picture profiles. So if you're curious what they look like, stay tuned after the intro and we'll get into it. By the way, this is the one that's called automatic. It changes and that's the issue with it. So let's roll the intro. Okay, so let's start off the day with standard. This is the standard picture profile. This is what it looks like. This is what you're gonna get straight out of the camera. No editing, no nothing. These are gonna be straight. It's the 24-105 lens. My shutter speed is set on 50. I'm shooting in 24 frames per second. The aperture is at 13 and my ISO is on 100. So this is what you get. Let's go to the next one. This is called portrait. I don't use this one, but this is what it looks like. Let's go to the next one. This one is called landscape. Again, this is not gonna be one I use for vlogging, but it's in there, so I figured I would share it with you. Let's go on to the next one. So this one is called fine detail. I have used this one a time or two, and I apologize. This is a horrible time of day to shoot video, and if I'm squinting, I apologize, but fine detail. Let's go to the next. And neutral, for those color graders out there, if you want the best picture profile to grade straight out of camera, it's gonna be this one. Neutral is the flattest. Moving on. Faithful. This is, I call this my lazy preset because this is when I don't want to have to do any editing because it looks the best. It looks close to how I would edit it anyway. So yeah, this is faithful. Moving on. And monochrome, one of my favorites because I love black and white. There's not much to this one. It's the only black and white one that's built into the camera. So here it is. I like it. Moving on. Okay, so these are the user-defined presets. Right now I have CineStyle up first. That's what this one is. It's incredibly flat, allows for a lot of color grading. And if you want to know what some of the color grading can look like, 3, 2, 1, this is with the color grade on. Let's move on to the second one. This is Marvel. It's my second user preset. It's again flat, but not quite as flat as CineStyle. And this is what it looks like graded. Okay, there you go. Let's move on to the last one. This one is a fake C-Log that I found. Not the biggest fan of this one. And if you can't tell, my face is probably getting too white now. But this is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like color graded. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go inside. We're gonna see what it looks like with a different lens and different lighting environments and see how it looks. So let's go inside in 3, 2, 1. But by the way, before I go inside, I did want to throw out this. This camera has what we call an HDR video setting. When you're shooting video, if you switch it over to scene mode on the dial, it will shoot 60 frames per second, one at a low exposure, one at a high exposure, and interpolate it to 30 frames per second. And this is what it looks like. So if you're worried about dynamic range, just shoot HDR. You can't change your settings as far as aperture or any of that, but the camera does it all. So yeah, that is HDR video. Now let's get inside and finish this up. Okay, so I am inside. I decided to do it in the sanctuary this time. That's what I did the last 2 times. And for various reasons, I wasn't able to use it, and it's infuriating. But this is back on the automatic setting. This is what it looks like. It will change, just fair warning. Like if something drastic color changes or something happens, it will change. That's why it's set. That's why it's called automatic. But let's just move on to the rest of the presets and get this video rolling again. Go. And we have standard. This is what the standard looks like. From my little screen, it looks kind of blue and green to me right now. It could be the lighting. It's probably the lighting, but just pointing that out. Next one. And we have portrait. Again, this is not one that I use, but it's in the camera and I wanted to show it to you guys. So this is what portrait looks like. Next one. And we have landscape. Again, not one I'm really gonna be using, but it's in the camera, so this is what it looks like. It may be these tiny little differences between them, but they are in the camera, so I wanted to share them with you. Let's move on to the next one now. Okay, now we have fine detail, and this is one that I have used on occasion. It looks pretty good. You can do some minor tweaks to it to just kind of make it a little bit better, but this is what the fine detail looks like. And moving on to the next one. We have the flattest in-camera profile. This is neutral. This is what it looks like inside. As you can see, it is very flat. It does color grade fairly well. Not as good as some of the user presets I have in the camera, but if you're in a pinch and you want to color grade and you don't want to try to upload any of those onto your camera, this is your best bet. Drop the contrast, drop the saturation, you're good to go. Let's move on to the next one now. Okay, and now we have my lazy preset. This is Faithful. This is for when you don't want to have to do much. It looks good. It accurately represents colors fairly well, skin tones and everything. So this is what Faithful looks like. Moving on to the next one. Let's go. By the way, in case you're curious, I'm doing this particular one with the 50 1.8 STM lens. Aperture is still on 50. Shutter speed is on 50. Aperture is at 1.8 and my ISO is at 100. And this is what it looks like with monochrome, the black and white. Probably one of my favorite in-camera ones because it's such a good looking black and white and a good quality black and white. Moving on. Okay, so this is the first user preset again. This is CineStyle. It's incredibly flat, great for color grading, and if you want to throw color on it, it looks like this. And this is why I use CineStyle most of the time, because I can get the colors that I want to and give it the look that I want to. So let's move on to the next one. Next up we have Marvel, the second user preset I have installed. It is not quite as flat, but it's still gradable, very easily gradable. This will be the second one I use most frequently. CineStyle is by far the first one. And if you want to know how to install these on your camera, all you have to do is search. I mean, it's incredibly easy as long as you have the software. And if you don't have the software, go on the Canon website, download the software, throw the pre-made preset on there, and you're good to go. So let's go to the last one, take a look at it real quick. So I said this is the last one, but it's not exactly the last one. We'll talk about it in a minute. But this is the fake C-Log that I found. No, the 6D Mark II does not have inbuilt C-Log, unfortunately. That would have been very nice. But this is a fake C-Log. I don't like it. It is not near as flat as it should be. CineStyle is 1,000 times more flat. This one actually looks pretty good on its own without a color grade though. But if you do want to throw a color grade on it, it looks like this. And so that is the fake C-Log. And the last one we're gonna do is we're gonna do the HDR again. So let me switch my settings on my camera and let's pull it up and see what it looks like. Let's go. Okay, so this is the HDR video. And again, it does it 60 frames per second, low and high exposure, puts it together into a 30 frame per second. I shoot in 24 frames per second, so this is gonna look a little weird with the motion blur and everything, but it's in the camera, so you should know about it. And if you're vlogging and you don't really care about it being super cinematic, this will work great, and it helps fix some of the dynamic range issues that this camera's kind of known for. Plus, you know, I didn't really know about this feature until I started reading through the manual and found it, and it's really cool. But let's switch back over to my favorite settings. I'll talk about why they're my favorite settings and what grade I'm using, and we'll go from there. So let's switch over now. Okay, so if you couldn't tell, my favorite is CineStyle. It's by Technicolor. It's a fantastic preset made for Canon cameras to give you the flattest profile you can get without having the actual C-Log. And the preset that I use when I use this particular one is my own, because I made my own LUTs. And if you're interested in those, shoot me a message and we'll see if we can get them to you. It was a really fun process, but this one is called That Summer Life, and it just looks good. Like, it doesn't take any work. You just throw it on the footage and that's it. It saves me so much time in post. But yeah, these are the picture profiles on the 6D Mark II. I love this camera. This camera gets a lot of hate because there's no 4K and the dynamic range isn't outstanding. But this camera does so many things well, like the flip out screen. If you ever see me looking over, it's because it has a flip out screen. I can see my framing. I can see if my head gets too far up and I know I need to lower down, or if I go too far left or too far right. I can see what I'm doing, which, because I have a vlog channel, is fantastic. It allows me to pay attention to what I need to be paying attention to and make sure everyone's in shot, and it's fantastic. This camera is a workhorse. It is It's so good. And that is what the picture profiles look like of all the different ones that are built into this camera. Now with that software you get from Canon, you have the ability to make your own. So if you don't like any of them, cool, go make one. It's built into the program. So I hope this helps someone out there. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content I'm putting out there. I will see you guys next time, and don't forget to live that creative life. Bye guys.